Hello Whovians, it's Timelord Miff here with you again, and today we're going to be taking a look at those furry harbingers of death and destruction, the Yeti. Well, we first encountered the Yeti in the Patrick Troughton story, The Abominable Snowman. And this story was written by Fraser Hinesd and Henry Lincoln. Now, unfortunately, the Abominable Snowman is one of those mythical lost stories. The only surviving episode is episode 2, and that got released as part of a retrospective on VHS many years ago. Now, I'm one of those fans that are hoping this will get the animation treatment, okay, just like the sequel story The Web of Fear. Now, this story is set in Tibet, and it all involves the Doctor returning the Ganta, which is a little bell, to the Detsen monastery. And during the course of events, Victoria and Jamie and the Doctor get separated. The Doctor visits a camp and finds a man who's been basically mutilated, and he gets taken to the monastery accused of the murder. And we see Professor Travis is the accuser. Now, Professor Travis has been searching for the Abominable Snowman for years and years and years, and believes he's on the right track. And he thinks that the Doctor is a rival explorer who's out to usurp his claim. Now, Professor Travis was played by Jack Watling, who happened to be Deborah Watling's father. Deborah Watling, Victoria. And the funny thing is, Whovians, that both Pat Troughton and Fraser Hinesd were notorious kidders and very fond of practical jokes, and they were always doing little jokes and practical things to poor old Deborah, which she took in great fun, I must say too. And she thought having her dad on set would make things a lot easier, but it didn't, because he joined in with Pat and Fraser and held together, the three of them, the jokes and everything. So she was getting bombarded on all sides. Now, the Yeti aren't exactly villains in their own right. They're actually minions controlled by a disembodied villain called the Great Intelligence, who's this disembodied alien mind. And he uses them to carry out his will. And they did become very popular. And so much so that they were given another shot in a story called The Web of Fear. And this story was set sometime later, I think about 30 years later. And the TARDIS arrives and in the underground, London Underground. But before that, we see the TARDIS in space, and it's being covered by this web-type substance. And when the TARDIS lands, they discover that London has been evacuated. Now, the interesting thing about the Web of Fear, Whovians, which, by the way, has been reconstructed, and I have it, it's great. So even if you can't get to see the Abominable Snowman in all its entirety, you can get the Web of Fear. And this story is interesting for a couple of things. Firstly, it's the first appearance of Nicholas Courtney as Lethbridge Stewart, and it does mark an appearance by UNIT, who are there basically to discover what's going on in this underground. Now, the Yeti have basically, are roaming the underground. And what was really interesting, I found, was that the BBC sought permission from London Transport to actually film those scenes down in the London Underground or the London Tube or whatever, and they were denied. So the very talented set builders built a set to resemble the tube stations and you know, the train stops and all those sort of things. And the London Underground Authority was going to sue the BBC for going against their wishes and saying, we told you you're not allowed to film here. Well, that was just such a great testament to those set builders, that they built a set that was so uncannily like the real thing that even the authority was fooled. And there is a wonderful sense of creepiness in this with the Yeti. Far more. Now, there's some people who said they look a bit too cuddly and cute in this one. I don't see it personally myself. But one of the creepiest scenes I saw is where, because a Yeti has been brought back and Professor Travis has sold it to a private collector, he's warning him, look, get rid of this sphere, you know, it's dangerous. He says, oh look, you're just trying to get your Yeti back at a discount price. It's not going to happen. Well, we see the sphere with its homing noise starting and it's rolling towards the Yeti while this museum curator or private, you know, owner of a museum has his back turned, and that was frightening. Seeing the Yeti, you know, stumbling through the underground was just wonderful. The lighting is very dark and very atmospheric because we don't know what's beyond that tunnel. Great stuff. And of course, this is where we get to see some of the problems that they have with time travel. Now, they've arrived 30 years after, and of course, Professor Travis is much older, and he looks at the doctor and says, you can't be the same person that I met in Tibet. You know, look, you have no, you get, well, you know, things happen, and the doctor dismisses it. But he does get involved, and it's a great introduction to UNIT and the UNIT soldiers, and basically their attempt to not only stop the Yeti, but also the Great Intelligence who's planning another takeover of the Earth. But this time, what he's doing, he's basically said to the doctor, let me drain your mind of all your Time Lord knowledge, and I'll let everyone go. I'll let Victoria go, and the doctor agrees. And I won't give you any spoilers, but it's very tension-packed, Whovians. Now, as I said, you can find that on DVD, and there is on YouTube some examples of fans who have put together the Abominable Snowman with sound bites, audio bites from the actual production, and also from clips, you know, stills and a few fragmented clips, so you can get a good overall idea of the story with that. And also too, it was released as a novelisation by Target. Now, they're a bit scarce these days. Well, there's still some available in print, but the majority, I used to have the entire collection. I won't go into what that happened, but check those out for yourself, because that was the only 2 times we got to see the Yeti, apart from a very brief appearance in the 5 Doctors, where the Brigadier and Pat Troughton, the second Doctor, are making their way through to the tomb of Rassilon, and a Yeti, a hand appears trying to get them. But that was the only thing, and it's sad that we didn't get to see them more in that story. Perhaps it would have been great to see the Yeti stumbling after the Brigadier and you know, Pat Troughton, just like the Cybermen were doing with the third Doctor, John Pertwee, and Elizabeth Sladen. But that's by the by. Check out those for yourself. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's a great look back at the second Doctor's era, and a story that's a little bit different, because Abominable Snowman deals with Buddhism and religion, not in a great way, but we get an understanding of it through the monastery and the scenes within that monastery. Well, that's it for me, Whovians. That's a few facts and trivia about the abominable snowman, the web of fear, and of course the Yeti. Now, if you've liked this video, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep up with more Doctor Who classic trivia and you want to impress all your friends with your knowledge. Then hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and you'll always be on top. Alright then, well that's it from me, Timelord Miff. So until our next video, I'll see you somewhere in time and space. Bye for now.